Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another electric episode of SKOL'ing with Friends, right here on Vikings First and SKOL. Tonight, we've got something special, a true crossover showdown as we gear up for Sunday Night Football. I'm Dave, as you know, and joining me is a Cowboys expert, Billy Kraemer, and trust me, we won't hold that against him. To break down all the massive Week 15 Sunday night, the massive Week 15 Sunday night football clash. The Minnesota Vikings rolling in with fresh momentum after a dominating shutout of the Washington Commanders against a desperate Dallas Cowboys team fighting off a collapse. Could they be collapsing? They lost to the Kittens last week. It's possible. Will J.J. McCarthy and a healthy O-line exploit Dallas's leaky defense? Can Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the explosive offense get back on track? We've got an insider's take to key matchups. We'll go over Aaron Jones's history against the Cowboys, which is pretty good. Bold predictions and plenty of friendly rivalry banter. So buckle up, Vikings, Cowboys fans, and any NFL fan that happens to be watching. This one's going to be fun. Let's welcome our returning friend on SKOL'ing with Friends.
Hey, Dave. How
Welcome to SKOL'ing with Friends. That's right, friends. We don't have any enemies in the business. We have friends. The whole idea is to have a one-on-one, possibly one-on-two, but most likely one-on-one interviews with knowledgeable individuals. These individuals could be from the press, such as beat writers, broadcasters, or podcasters like us, or even from the team itself. We aim to not only feature people from Vikings land who we may already know, but also individuals from other teams who can contribute to your Vikings knowledge as we grow our fandom for the purple, your Minnesota Vikings, the team we all love. It's time to SKOL and meet the new friend now. Hey, everybody, I want to welcome Billy Kraemer, good friend of mine. We've known each other for almost 30 years now, and he happens to be just as devoted to the boys as we are to our Vikings. Welcome to the show, Billy.
Thank you, Dave. Pleasure being here. It's always fun with you talking football and our teams.
Yep, and it's the second time you've been on. You were on a few years ago when we played.
That was Halloween, actually. That had a Halloween game, and I believe Cooper Rush came in and
yes, we don't want to
played.
remember it.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, it was a bad game, but hey, we're here. We're going to talk football, but first I want to welcome those in the chat. I want everybody that's here. We got Raymond, we got Chad, we've got Two-Tone, Biggs is here, Raymond again. Let's see, who else am I missing? Doc Proto, as always, Mr. Bob Swede. Welcome all, and if I missed you, I apologize, but hey, we're going to time to talk football, so that's what we're going to do. Now, Billy, I got a first question for you.
Sure. Fire away.
Coming off that tough 44-30 loss to the Lions last Thursday, how real is the sense of collapse around the Cowboys right now? And what's the mood in Dallas heading into this Sunday night football game?
Well, after 3 or 4 games of a little bit of a wave riding after the Quinnen Williams trade, we really stepped it up, and I thought turned a corner and played significantly better, especially in the middle. Uh, the Eagles, the Kansas City game were both big and motivational, and I was really hoping for a third one. At the beginning of the season, I felt that this was going to be the very pivotal stretch, and I was going to be happy if we went 1-3. We went 2-3, and I guess I have to be happy about that. Um, I think the culture with Schottenheimer, he's going to turn the page, and it'll be forgotten. And it's going to be helpful as well that we had a Thursday night game, giving us a bit of a mini bye, and that extra rest will make things easier to forget and to move on from, and at the same time get ready for a big Sunday night clash, which is going to be super important for both our teams.
It is, because technically we're both still in it for a playoff position. For the Vikings, it takes a whole boatload of magic to happen, and besides winning out for us. But for you guys, I think you're down to 10% chance. You need the Eagles to lose, and lose frequently and often.
Well, they've got to lose 2 games right now, and we've got to win out, and that's going to give us a chance. We had a significantly 25% better percentage if we would have been beating the Lions. We didn't, and that's just the way it is. And tomorrow's a new day, and you got to put your shoes on and your jock strap and get out there and get her done.
Yes, you do. And it surprised me that you beat the Lions. They are beat up. And
I was surprised St. Brown played. I was not happy with a couple of the defensive maneuvers. You got Williams, the fastest guy on the field, being covered by one of our safeties, and that didn't make any sense to me at all. And he ate us up
this season.
Mm-hmm. And St. Brown playing, he played like he didn't have no ankle sprain that I saw. And the defense has been up and down all year. The beginning of the year, we were awful. I've never seen a team. I think the first 4 weeks of the season, we had a dozen or 10 maybe touchdown against us, pass plays of over 30, 40 yards. I mean, we were getting scorched. That's changed. We've gotten a little healthier, but Eberflus has got to do a better job.
What's the story with Diggs? Diggs used to be so good.
The first year or two, he was a ball hawk. Then next year, he didn't have near the amount. I think he had 11 interceptions year 1 or 2. The next year, I don't think he only had 2 or 3, but he had a lot of pass breakups. And he's just been major injury prone. In fact, the Cowboys were a little more than a little upset with him this offseason. He had a clause in his contract for a $500,000 bonus if he performed 65% of at the facility during the offseason. And he was recouping an injury, an ACL, and he chose not to do that and chose to heal and get better and what have you in Miami. And the Cowboys weren't happy, and they had the option. A lot of teams will pay that even though they don't show up, but they didn't. They kept the $500,000. They declined to pay it. So you have a little unhappiness with the front office. And then something happened 4 or 5 weeks ago. Nobody knows what it was or what happened with some kind of concussion that he received at home. And he's been out 6 weeks now. Hopefully this week he'll be back. And
he slipped and fell.
Yeah, in the shower.
Somewhere.
I guess he's got a little too many bars of soap floating around. I don't know. I think there's a great question whether he'll be back. He may have. He has no guaranteed money. The Cowboys designate him as a post-June release. They'll say $15 million, and I think that's very likely going to happen.
Okay. Now,
do the Vikings need a new cornerback?
Oh yes, we could use corners. I don't know if we're going to take digs, but we could use corners. But digs of a couple years ago, hell yes. This one,
oh yes,
not so sure. But you guys have had a decent season. Dak Prescott has been lighting it up statistically this year. You guys are the number one offense when it comes to total yards. Unless you're playing in the late afternoon and blinding your receivers with the light coming through the stadium, you seem to be pretty much cooking when it comes to offense. Do you see any changes in that?
We've been riding a wave all season. I believe Dak is, if not playing at an MVP level, he's in the top 3 quarterbacks performing this year. He kept the turnovers down. And, sometimes turnovers, interceptions, obviously, are misleading. A receiver gets his hands on it or hits him in the numbers, pops it up. And Dak's had 3 or 4 of those the last few years. Those haven't happened this year. Plus, he's throwing less, so he's been very, very effective. He's zipping the ball, throwing it into tight coverage. Some really, really great down the seams to Ferguson this year. And of course, Pickens has picked up and played mightily and fit right in and been effective receiver with CeeDee Lamb. That gives you 2 weapons that the defense has to really consider and scheme against. And if you take away one, you got to worry about the other, vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And George Pickens, when you guys got him, I have some friends over on the Steelers side, and they get frustrated every time he has a big game. Absolutely frustrated.
I don't know what happened in Pittsburgh. Sometimes in sports, a change of scenery can make a big difference. You just didn't like the scheme. You didn't like what one of the things they don't talk about is position coaches much. They always talk to offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach. But sometimes it can be a position coach, and you're not communicating or getting it right, and or like the way you're being used. I'm going to use somebody as a decoy. You might not want to be that. I want to be the go-to, and you got to get me enough receptions to stay interested. Now, that's not necessarily how it should be, but in fact, it can be, and it often is. I mean, look what's going on with Philly and their big receiver. There's been all season, and he's down career lows, and they're not exactly tearing it up of late. Okay, so it can be different.
Speaking of career lows, Justin Jefferson obviously is doing that, but he's not complaining publicly, and he's the consummate leader. He's not a diva in the true case like Randy Moss was or Stephon Diggs or whomever. There's a whole list of diva wide receivers across the board you can name. But he's only been getting a couple catches a game, and that is nowhere near what he's used to. And it's not because he's not open, because he is. I watched the All-22 tape, and he's running all wide open. It's with us, it's the grooming of a young quarterback. That's the issue.
Well, we talked right after the draft when they got McCarthy, and anybody can change, okay, and get better and what have you. I'm not sold on McCarthy, but I've been wrong many times. You can just ask my wife about that. I think McCarthy's got good weapons, but I mean, look at Darnold. Okay, he's with the Jets. He's with the Panthers. Both teams didn't have the weapons and didn't have much of an offensive line. Now he gets to Minnesota, and I always thought Darnold could play because I saw him at SC being out here in LA frequently. I think McCarthy, first of all, he's got to stay healthy. He hasn't been healthy, and you, it's a learning curve as a new a rookie, and he's still a little green that way. He's got great weapons, Jefferson, and the kid from SC who I saw, I love him, and he's a great player. So I think he's going to do really well. You just got to throw him the ball, and you got to feed Jefferson. I mean, he's top three receiver in the league. So if he doesn't get 12 to 14, attempts a game, something's not right for with the coaching staff on that one.
Yeah, and it's Kevin O'Connell is clearly upset because he has to simplify his system down a little bit to get JJ comfortable. And it obviously worked this week. We had the full offensive line as designed before the season, which is only the second game they played. It's the first full game they played together. And there was a bunch of intermediate throws and short throws, but it worked. And obviously, because JJ had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the third best QBR in the league this last week. So it's interesting. Now, we both have pretty good kickers. Probably the best in the league. You have Brandon Aubrey, who hits everything beyond 60 yards. It's crazy. You get to the midfield marker, the star in your case, he seems to be money. We have Will Reichert, who set an NFL record for 4 in a row plus 59, all beyond 59 yards.
Sure.
And who has not missed unless it was 2 that hit the camera wires. And the NFL still denies that, but at least one sure looked like it.
That's a European wire. We don't count those.
And Will Reichert's 100% this year on his points after. It's just, I'm afraid this game's going to come down to that last second field goal. And whoever gets to midfield is going to be the one, has the ball last and gets to the midfield is going to come out the winner on this.
Well, Aubrey's a free agent, and he's been a stud since he came on board. And you got to give the coaching and recruiting staff of the Cowboys credit because they got 2 special teamers that have been all pros now, and Turpin and Aubrey, and got them both from the USFL and found them. So I'm sure other teams are after that paying much, much closer attention to who's out there and what they're doing, because you can find diamonds in the rough, and they are now shiny and performing, and the Cowboys have been taking advantage of that. As far as Aubrey having just a huge leg, soccer player, and I think he's from Australia, so they're kicking like fools down there with rugby and what have you. A couple other rugby guys have been in the league a couple times. They haven't really succeeded to sure as heck not to the level Aubrey has, but he's a free agent, and I think the Cowboys are going to sign him for sure. They don't want to tie him up, and I'm actually a little disappointed. When we played Denver in Denver, the end of the first half, we had the ball at about our 48 or so with seconds left in the half, and it was the perfect opportunity, and he'd have set a record if he would have kicked it, especially in that altitude. Okay. And he could have kicked a 73-yarder and really put it out of touch for everybody else, like Dempsey did for so many years, and really made a mark. in 10, 15 years, that could have really helped. He's going to get his chance one of these days. I can't wait to see that one.
Well, he kicks indoors just like Will Reichert, so that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the altitude in Denver helps, but yeah, no, I remember I had that game on, or I was watching the highlights or something. I was like, why aren't they kicking? They should be, but who knows? Now, there have been some Australian rules football guys that come out and do the punting.
Mm-hmm.
We had one that tried out in our preseason, and it was driving our kick returners absolutely nuts. And he was used during the preseason as well, and it was because he had a variety of different balls he would kick, different types, like a knuckleball, one that went left, a slider. I mean, it was like a pitcher. He had a whole lineup of different style kicks. And I think he was also left-footed, which, of course, causes problems to start off with. And but we went with Mr. Wright, Ryan Wright, he's had his best season as a Viking so far this year. So our kickers are doing great. The guys that touch the ball, and of course our long snappers are perennial, all pro. So
Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I'm glad Aubrey's not doing, I remember there was a couple Australian punters who loved to go tackle on the punt, okay? So we don't need Aubrey going down there getting physical with anyone. We want him just being untouched and letting that little leg of his work, okay? We're very happy to have him, and hopefully we'll have him for a few more years.
Yeah, well, good. We'll see. It's going to cost you. And you know how Jerry is about spending money.
Oh, yeah. It's the same as me. Likes to keep it in the back pocket, okay?
He spends it on what he wants. And he's not afraid to spend it. It's just on what he wants.
He's got his beautiful yacht. Oh, yes. Okay. Helicopter, the whole 9 yards.
All right. Now, this year, your defense has been leaky at times, especially on third downs. What adjustments has Matt Eberflus made lately, and how do you see them holding up against the Brian Flores? Well, not the defense plays defense. How do you see them holding up against KOC's offense?
Well, I don't know where they got this idea, but they're playing 3 defensive tackles and a 5-man line, and they started doing that 3-4 weeks ago, right after the Quinnen Williams trade. I guess somebody got an idea, and it seems to have blossomed. It's been effective. It wasn't effective at all against the Lions, but it was very effective against the Raiders and the Chiefs and the Eagles. So I think you're going to see that. The problem I see for the Vikings is no one's ever done that. Okay. So there's going to be a novelty to it that the offense is going to have to adjust to, because usually it's a 4-man line against 5 blockers. Now everybody's got somebody, and you got a couple of beasts in there, and Odigizua, you got Williams, and Ezraku's I really like as a rookie. He's been very effective, doing really well in pressures as a defensive end. So what it really is it's one-on-one. And I may not be able to beat whoever I'm up against, or you, Dave, might not be. But you got to, now that's 5 of you. Can all 5 every time not be beat? The other issue with the same is with 3 defensive tackles, the middle is feeling the pressure and not the outside. And normally when you get a blitzer like, Micah Parsons, I remember him. Okay. He's coming from the outside. The quarterback steps up. That can't happen in this situation because of the pressure from the 3 defensive tackles. It's not easy to, you can't get around that one. You can get around the edge rush as a quarterback, and JJ's mobile. He's young, he's healthy, so that's doable. But when it comes up the middle, quarterbacks stand, they step up. You can't do that. That's going to be an issue and something different that the O-line's going to have to handle and McCarthy's going to have to adjust to.
Mm-hmm. Well, he practices against it because that's exactly what Brian Flores uses. We use 3 down linemen and 2 edges. And a typical 3-4 setup is how we run it. And of course, we'll bring up 10 guys, 9 guys in the box or on the line, and Dak will have to determine who's coming, who's not coming, who's going to bail out. You could have Harrison Smith come up and get on the line and threaten a blitz, and he could blitz, or he could run back and cover the back of the field. It's just how Brian Flores works. Now, we've played Matt Eberflus's defense for years when he was with Chicago. Obviously, he's changed it a bit, and that's good to know for our fans. It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, I think one of Dak Prescott's strongest attributes is longevity. He's been in the league 10 years. He's seen just about everything there is to see. And he excels when it comes to the blitz. He's able to read it pre-snap. He's able to determine it many times and get around it. While he isn't quite the runner he was his first 2 or 3 years, he's still able to step up, move, get around. He likes to throw on the run. I've always been a huge advocate of him throwing on the rollout or the naked boot. And so I think I'm not concerned really about him picking up blitzes. Now, that's not to say that the O-line won't get beat. I'm just saying Dak may run for his life a little more than we'd like him to. But overall, the Cowboys' offensive line, I feel good about, not great about, but good. And they're improving, and they've got some real good players. I mean, very solid. And I think within 1 to 2 years, the Cowboys are going to have the top 3 offensive line in the league.
Ooh, okay. Back to tradition for you guys then.
Yes, it makes it easier to run the ball when you got a solid O line, and that brings me to Javonte Williams, who we picked up as a free agent this year. We haven't really had anybody rushing the ball well the last few years. He's been quite the pleasure to have. I think he's at 1,100 yards or so right now. He's been a little slower as far as average yards per carry the last couple weeks, but we had 4 games in 18 days. Okay. That's going to tire anybody out. Okay. And we don't really have that great or a heavy down second running back. So he's carrying 17 to 20 carries a game, maybe 22 in some cases. And in that short a period, your body's got to take a little beating, and somewhere you got to suffer. And maybe he isn't suffering. The offensive line's got the same thing with that many games. They're a little slower. They're not getting the blocks and the secondary blocks down in the secondary or down second line with the linebacker. So that's going to limit some of the bigger runs and the opportunity for big plays.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank Too Evil for the super chat. He says McCarthy reminds him of Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell with his historically bad stats so far this year. Well, Too Evil, let's hope that changes. But we'll find out. But yes, Javonte Williams has been a bright spot for you guys. And you're right about improve the offensive line and you improve the run game. Vikings fans have been screaming that for 2 decades, ever since Adrian Peterson. We've been screaming that. But hey, it is what it is. We finally look to be there. And we have Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason's the heavy beat up the middle guy, whereas Aaron Jones is the more speed outside sort of player. Speaking of Aaron Jones, he's historically had a good time against Cowboys. whether it be when he was with Green Bay or with us. He's averaged 6.6 yards per carry, and that's going to be tough to stop if he's doing that. And I know last week he was over 6 yards as well. So
he's been effective, and the Cowboys were scorched last week for a couple of big plays. Not many, but a couple. I mean, that one by Montgomery was ridiculous. We have him for a 2 or 3 yard gain with 5 guys around him, and all of a sudden the Red Sea parts. Montgomery goes for 35 and a touchdown.
trust me, we know that feeling.
I won't share some of my comments at that moment in time. Okay.
Hey,
But Jones is going to be a problem, and we're going to have to. And our linebackers have not been. Our linebackers have been poor to sucky all year. Overshown, who's came back from the second ACL in 2.5 years. Amazing that he did so far. He's still a little rusty. I mean, he's fast and whatnot, but he needs another 2 weeks to get back to football shape, really. Because, when you haven't had camp, OTAs, and now it's week 9 of the season and you get your first play, it's going to be a little difficult when you've been out a year. He's the other guys. You can throw them away. Okay, they're a dime a dozen. The Cowboys need to pick up a couple linebackers. I don't understand. At the beginning of the year, I thought Maris Leafau was playing pretty well, and some of the Cowboy pundits were raving about him. And last 4 or 5 weeks, he's gotten 2 or 3 snaps on defense and the rest on special teams. And Murray and the new guy they picked up at the trade, Logan, they're nothing. Okay, I'd much rather see Leafau, a young kid, let him learn. Okay, and we go from there.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, now I forgot the biggest headline of this season. You guys fired, speaking of McCarthy, and hired Brian Schottenheimer from within. How has he been as this head coaching tenure for him?
Well, everybody that I've followed and listened to, Shoddy came out at the beginning of the year and said we're going to run the ball more. Now, McCarthy said the same thing day 1 or day 2, and he didn't. Okay, they passed first, and while we're still passing significantly a big amount, they're running the ball a lot, and they're not giving up on the run when you're behind. And we've had some slow starts. I mean, yeah, we've had some big numbers, okay, but we've started slow. So, but Schottenheimer, I think, has been overall very good for the team. There seems to be great communication. The chemistry is improved, and overall the team is bought in, and that's the biggest thing. Okay, if you can get everybody or most of the people on board, just like anything, you're not going to get everybody, but it's a team, and when they clap or cheer, they do that. But some guys are more rah-rah than others. I think you're seeing a significant improvement, and that's going to lead, when stuff goes bad, SH hits the fan, that they pick each other up and they move on, because there's going to be turnovers and goofball plays. We won't mention Mr. Lett in Thanksgiving years ago.
Oh, trust me,
In
we
the
have plenty of
snow.
ours.
Yes. So I think Schottenheimer's done a very good job. I do believe I think when I look back at it now, and I didn't at the beginning or didn't know enough about it, the special teams coach hire looks like it was a mistake, okay? Or at least they didn't, they overestimated his abilities, in that he's never been a special teams coach, and throwing him in right away. It was probably basically we got 3 new coordinators this year. Instead of doing that, we probably should have solidified one of them with somebody who was experienced. Eberflus, on paper, Eberflus looked like a great hire. Okay, uh, and Schottenheimer, I think, has done a very good job calling plays. He could be a little more aggressive, but this is his first year really doing it. I don't know how much he did it with Seattle, but I don't know that it was more run over there. And I think he's got to, when you got Pickens and CD, you got to be throwing the ball. But the special teams has hurt us. I think the average starting position for the Lions last week was at their 42. That is not healthy, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it is. And I had a question here about the special teams specifically that, and hopefully you guys will continue with that, because
I thought you might have that feeling, Dave. I just guessed, and that would.
we've got a young rookie kick returner, Mr. Price, who's taken one to the house, got called back for penalty, taken some big kickoff returns and get called back for penalty. We've had a penalty issue, especially on special teams, but we've got the kick returner, it looks like, to do it, Miles Price. And he does both kicks and punts. And he's got a big set of huevos on punts. he's scary to watch, but he's a great runner.
I don't think anybody in the NFL is better than Kevontae Turpin on either punt return or kick return right now. And this year has been a disappointment. He hasn't played up to his level as far as I'm concerned. And I think special teams overall has not helped him to get a few breaks, because he is explosive, he is fast, he is special, he's fearless. And if he gets a seam, I remember it was a year or two ago, he had a kickoff and a punt return in the same game. And that is so exciting. And what it does for the rest of your team is just enormous. And you can't minimize that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I know it's great. And when one team plays, of the three, special teams, offense, defense, plays great, it brings up the other two. And I can't wait to see that for us, but we'll find out. Now,
it's real soon.
Hopefully Sunday night. Let's see. Do you have any questions for me about the Vikings?
Well, I think the biggest question is, what have you seen? Because the game is all about the quarterback. What have you seen with improvement for JJ as far as where he needs to be and where he is right now?
He's still got a ways to go. His footwork is wonky. Still, they'll work on that in the offseason. They finally given up doing that during the season, because all it did was mess with his head, because he would drop back and start thinking about, my feet got to be this way or that way or whatever, and they'd miss. They let him play last week and said, just don't think about it. Just make good football decisions. And it worked. So we're going to see over the next 4 games if he shows progress. And it's going to determine, do we go for a veteran backup that's going, primarily can win games if he's called upon? Or are we going for a veteran backup that's not going to be the backup and is going to be mainly competing for the starting job next year? I hope the last 4 games, JJ's nice and cool and mellow and doing well and shows that he deserves to be there. I'd like to get him over 200 or 250 yards passing on a game, but when you're up, 3 scores, you don't need to score more. All you need is run the ball and kill the clock. So, but there's been some improvement. I think it's going to take time. He's young. He's the second youngest quarterback in the league. to dart Giants, but by only like 2 months. But it is what it is.
What do you think Flores is going to do with CD and Pickens? How is he going to play them? Is he going to? I mean, my strategy would, what I like is you put your best cornerback on number 2 receiver, and if you're playing man, and then you put 2 guys on number 1. And well, what's Flores' strategy going to be? Because he's going to have his hands full. I think CD plays. He's improving from the concussion that he received in the Lions game, and with the extra time off, I think that's going to benefit his recovery. And we'll see him on Sunday night, and hopefully in our starred end zone again.
Well, we're gonna. Brian Flores is all about deception. It's usually he'll play zone. We don't have really the corners to play man, so it'll be some sort of deceptive zone. Tampa to 6 quarters, whatever. But it's not going to be easily detected. And I think with the zone, you could have the corner on the underside and the safety up top and get basically a double. Now, can Dak beat those zones and beat the pass rush at the same time? Because we do have a very good pass rush. We'll find out. It's going to be a test. I don't know. I hope so. Now, with us both hanging on by our toenails for the playoffs, and the Vikings are really not in it, but we want to finish strong. Is this a must-win game for Dallas?
We don't have any chance. We don't have any realistic chance other than a miracle if we don't win this game. And I believe if we don't win out, we have no chance. Okay, we're going to need help because we're the third team looking in right now. So we got to pass, and losing to Detroit, which is just above us, we shot ourselves in the foot. And we really have no one. We have no one to blame. I was going to say we really don't have anyone. No, we have no one to blame whatsoever. We lost to Arizona. I was at that game in Dallas. And we lost to the Panthers. Those were 2, the beginning of the year. I had a W on those, and I could have gone skiing or played pickleball and missed those games because that was automatic. We played poorly, terrible, didn't get it done, so we shot ourselves. But we got to win out.
Yeah, basically. We've got to win out, plus a whole bunch of other stuff to help us. And our 0.5% chance of making it. I want us to win just because I want us to finish strong on the season. Now, it's obviously this game's in Dallas, which of course it is because I moved from Austin. 3 years I was there. Did we have a game in Houston or in Dallas? No. First year I move out, game's in Dallas. And it's like, because if there's a game within 4 hours or so, I'm going. But it's going to be interesting. Now, do you have any bold predictions for this matchup on Sunday night?
I think with the extra time off, the Cowboys are going to be pissed, okay? They were riding a wave, and they got punched in the mouth. Detroit played more physical. And as sometimes does happen in this league, a loss may wake you up and be good for you. Now, I'm not going to agree with that in this particular case, but I'm hoping they're using that as the motivation to wake up. They've got to do it. They can't take anybody for granted. Detroit was decimated by injuries, and while Schottenheimer they're listening to him. Sometimes you look as a player at your opponent. Oh, on paper, we got this done. Okay. They're decimated. Okay. And I mean, they didn't get any pressure on Goff the whole game. Okay. Jared can't move. Okay. He's a great quarterback as far as throwing the ball accurate, but you got to put pressure on him. Okay. So they didn't. And that's that. I believe they're going to step up and they're going to be effective. If the Cowboys come out and score on their first possession, then I think they're going to put up 35. That's if they come out slow, they're going to struggle to get 24. Okay, struggle. But I think they're going to be. They've got to get it done right now, and if they take a moment or two off, it'll be very costly. I think the Vikings are going to put up points because the defense is still, especially the secondary. I mean, if Diggs plays, okay, he hasn't played in a year. Oh, I take it back. He played earlier in the year, but he didn't play well, and he's had his 6-game concussion break over. Then you got Ravel, who's a rookie and has played nicely, but he's been torched as well. He's new. That's what rookies, it happens to them. Kalen Carson is playing better. And the one that's really is Bland. That one's got me stumped in the secondary. Uh, Sets an NFL record a year ago for pick sixes. Okay, and he just some games he hasn't been there. I don't know if he's got an injury or what, but he's been basically, he's covering whoever they're shut down. Okay, but this year that hasn't been the case. The Cardinals. I can't think of the kid that second year kid just torched him in the Cardinals game for 2 touchdowns. I mean, just torched him. Went left and Bland went right. And then last week, a couple of plays too. So if this, I expect, and with your receivers, you're in the top 3. JJ and Addison are with Cincinnati and us for the best combination of receivers. So I expect you guys to get yours. And even though McCarthy's young, it doesn't matter because our secondary isn't that good right now. It really isn't. And our safeties, I don't even know who the hell they are. Okay, that's how bad they're been playing.
Well, it's interesting. It's going to be strength on strength. Our strength is obviously our defense. We're top 5 in some categories, especially against the pass. And going against you guys, Dak, and Dallas offense, which is number 1 in yards, is going to be strength on strength. Now, where we might have a chance is to push up the middle on the defensive side because we're bringing it this year, which is the whole reason we got Hargrave and Allen. But it turns out we have Jalen Redmond, another UFL standout that we brought over a couple years ago, and he's just been outstanding and has earned himself a starting job. It's they cause lots of interior pressure on top of our edge rushers, in which we have 3 causing problems. There's Andrew Van Ginkel, and if Dak's smart, he's not going to throw a screen to Andrew Van Ginkel's side. It's why offensive coordinators call that. We have no idea, but he tends to float out there when sees the running back run by, goes, okay, I'll go out there, and then poof, he pops open the ball and boink, and tries to run it back for a touchdown, which he's been successful a few times.
Well, our inside offensive line with Booker, Smith, and Beebe is they're tough, and they had a couple injuries with Beebe and Booker, but they're playing healthy now. Guyton was out the last 2 weeks. He'll be coming back. He's still a work in progress. Our left tackle, Terrence Steele. some games he's here and others he's off to Maui. I don't know.
Well, besides Ginkle, we
So
got Jonathan Grenard, Pro Bowler last year, All Pro, and then we have Dallas Turner, who happens to be leading the group with sacks. So,
it'll be the trenches will be a good battle to watch, and I think it's going to be an ebb and flow. You'll get some, we'll get some, and as you said earlier with the kicker at the end, it could be the last guy holding the ball that's going to get a chance to put their foot to it and see how far they can kick that 50, 55-yarder to get it.
mm-hmm. Oh, it very well could come down to that. Now, you talked about taking the lead first. That's a way to beat the Vikings. KOC hates chasing the lead. As long as we've got it and we're in it, everything's balls to walls for the defense. So,
what's your personal strategy on the coin toss? Do you take the ball or do you want it for the second half and go for the double dip?
Normally, we are a team that defers, but this year, a couple times, we're one that will accept it because we want to get J.J. McCarthy rolling.
Yeah, I like deferring, but the Cowboys start slow. The other team gets the ball, and we don't score in our first possession. All of a sudden, it's 10-0. I'm not liking that, but I love to catch it at the end of the first half. Do it at the beginning. Yeah, we did that last week against the Detroit in the first play in the second half. We threw a pick. Didn't work out too well for us, did it?
No, it didn't. I'll be talking about that tomorrow on our Who Will Be King NFC North show.
See if we can repeat that one for you guys, huh?
Yeah, let's see if we can. All right. I don't like to pick a score. I'm rooting for a Vikings win. So we'll find out.
I'm looking 28-31, and you can put either one of whoever on top. I think the Cowboys have more to play for. The Vikings, as you said, are going to really got a thin chance. That motivation should be enough for the Cowboys to really get going. And we got Guyton, Diggs. Who else? There's two other guys that are coming back. That could come back. So if we get healthy, that's going to be a benefit for us. And we got to get it done, or we're going to hit Cancun real early.
Oh, well, let's hope that happens for the Dallas Cowboys. Any last words there, buddy?
I really appreciate you having me on, and it's a pleasure always talking with you, Dave. You know that.
Yes, and it is so good. And as I used to say, cha-ching, baby.
Cha-ching.
As we say in Vikings land, Skol Vikings.
Good luck
for watching and listening to this production from Vikings First and SKOL, SKOL'ing with Friends. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and rate us over on your favorite aggregator, as we are partnered with the Fans First Sports Network, bringing the purple to you, by fans, for fans. And what do we say? Skol Vikings!